today I'm going to be showing you how to set up a Unity VR play space in 2019.2.3. They've changed some stuff that makes it a little bit more confusing. So start a new project, call it VR play space, for instance. 2019. Yeah, 3D project, open it up in Unity. And then once you're in there, you're going to want to go to the asset store and search for Oculus and download the Oculus integration. If you don't have the asset store, it's in window under asset store there, or you can hit Control 9, but I've got it tabbed up here. So yeah, so you're going to want to download the Oculus integration. So Oculus, and it's going to be the first one that comes up, this one here with the Oculus. So you're going to want to download it, and then you're going to want to, once it's going to take a while to download, and then you're going to want to import it. So you're going to hit import, and it's going to open up all the files, and then you're going to choose which ones you want to import. So just for now, we're just going to chuck them all in, because you don't want to start cropping stuff out and making a mess of it. Cool, so then Oculus may ask you if you want to update the utilities plugin. Just hit yes, and then it's going to ask you if you want to restart. Then it's going to ask you if you want to update the spatializer plugin. You can upgrade it or don't upgrade it, it works either way. And then just hit restart as well, and then Unity will open and close. I don't know if it's one of my versions is outdated to the asset. It probably is what it is. So there, yeah. So now you'll see in the project you've got the Oculus package, and that's got all of the prefabs and scripts in it that we're going to need. So when you enter Unity, you're going to want to go to your project settings, and you are going to want to go to player, go to XR settings, and check the virtual reality supported button. That allows Oculus and virtual reality SDK integration. This is essential for getting stuff to work. So what we're going to want to look for first is the OVR player controller. So OVR, you're just going to grab it and you're going to drag it into the hierarchy. So this is your character controller. This is everything that you need on it. You've got the controller script. It's really easy to use. So let's just chuck a plane so we have a floor. And let's just raise the character controller up so they're not in the floor. We're just going to chuck a color on the floor to make it a little bit easier to see. So let's just go with some blue. There we go, and then we'll just chuck that on there. And then it just means that we can just see where we are, so you can see like the lines going into the floor a little bit easier there. Okay, so then once we've got the player controller, we're going to want the hands. So under these left and right hand anchors, we're just in here, we're going to search for the custom hand. That's going to give us the custom hand left and the custom hand right. So left will drop under the left hand anchor, right will drop under the right hand anchor, and there we go. So we've got our custom hands. Now we need them to actually be able to do stuff, so we're going to add a grabbable script. So it's going to be the OVR grabber and the OVR grabber on the left and the right. So then if you look at the left hand now, it's going to say grip transform, player and parent transform. So we're going to want to add the custom left hand to the grip transform on the left hand anchor, and then the player controller on the player there. Okay, and then we're going to do the same on the right hand anchor. We're going to add the custom right hand to the grip transform and the player controller to the player. We're going to load up the scene. I've only got battery in one of my controllers, so I'll only have one working hand. But as we can see, I can use my hand, it closes and stuff, moves around, and I can actually move myself. If I had a second hand, I would also be able to turn myself, but currently I have not got the battery in there. So once we've done that, all we need to do is sort out being able to pick an object up. So let's just chuck in a couple of little cubes. Let's just make that a little bit smaller because that's right up in our face there. We'll just make it a little bit smaller like that. And we're going to add to it the OVR grabbable script, as we added the OVR grabber script to the hand. The grabbable script is what lets it interact with it. We've already got a box collider because we created a cube, but the other thing we're going to need is a rigid body to add it physics. So we're going to chuck a rigid body on there, and we're going to hit play and see if we can pick it up. So let's have a quick look. So we're in the world, here's the cube. Not sure. Here's the cube, and we can't really get close to it, but yeah, we can pick it up. We can pick it up with a hand, we can chuck it around. We just flung it into the sky and flung ourselves off in a weird direction. So that brings me into the next thing. So there's a bit of a weird thing with the way the grabbable script interacts with the character controller and the HMD. So if you put it under yourself, you can actually teleport yourself up into the air, and you can probably make this into some weird fun mini game. And then if you let go of the thing, you're sort of hovering above it, and then you sort of plummet back down to the earth in spectacular fashion. So the way to fix that, and it took me a while to get this to work properly, is if you select the player controller and go into layers, we need to add 2 layers. So we need to add the HMD or player layer, let's call it player layer, and then we need to add the hand layer. So we're going to add the hand layer in there. Cool. So the player controller, we're going to select player, and it's going to ask us to do all the children. We're going to say yes, because we want all of those objects to be on the player layer. But then what we're actually going to do is we're going to select the left and the right hand anchor and put that on the hand layer, and we're going to change their children as well. So you'll see player controller, forward direction, all the way down to tracker anchor is all going to be on the player layer. But the left hand anchor and right hand anchor and all of its children is all going to be on hand. And then we're going to also put the object you want to grab onto the hand layer. And then we're going to go into the project settings. So in the project settings here, you can go onto the physics layer, and you've got the hand player interaction here. So if you turn that off, the hand and the players won't interact. So remember that if you're trying to script something in and you're like, why is this not working? It may be that you've got it on a layer that won't interact with itself. But that will stop all of the visual bugs in terms of like catapulting yourself up into the sky. I can hold it under myself, and we're all good. I can walk into that place because my body itself isn't interacting with this layer, the cube. And that can be pretty handy in terms of just fixing something that I haven't found another workaround for. And yeah, there we go, guys. So you've got a nice, easy, simple VR play space. It takes you no less than 10 minutes to set up, and you're ready to go. So you can duplicate this, you can change the shape, or just keep this as something that you can use as a reference. Thanks very much for watching, and let me know if you need me to put any more tutorials up.